April 29, 2022. Thanks to the financial support from Wisconsin Ukrainians, a non-profit organization in the USA, we were able to purchase groceries and medications of basic necessities. The food package included basic food items, grains, canned meat, oil, and other items. After we bought everything we needed, we packed the items in bags and loaded them into the car. We will have a trip to Chernihiv region to the villages of Novy Bykiv and Nova Basan. Residents of these settlements suffered for a month under the occupation of Russian troops. On the way there, we passed dozens of uncultivated fields, people afraid to work, because there is still a large number of mines and ammunition left behind in the region. When retreating from Chernihiv region, the Russian military destroyed bridges, and therefore we had to drive such temporary structures. Consequences of the fighting can be seen literally on every meter of the road. There was a lot of fightings in these places. Nova Basan and Novy Bykiv in the Chernihiv region. The enemy troops entered here on the third day of the war, on the February 27th, and left on the March 31st. This is what the remnants of the ammunition look like. Each of these carried death and destruction to the civilians of Ukrainian towns. They were found in the burnt Russian military vehicles after the enforcement sweep by the Ukrainian military. And this is just a fraction of Russian weapons that were meant to fall on the heads of civilians. The invaders were using deceitful tactics by using civilians as human shields, hiding their military equipments in the yard of civilians' houses. The soldiers who had come in these vehicles deprived people of their homes by forcing them into the underground shelters, while they themselves were living in their houses, looting and destroying their property. Overall, about 1,000 vehicles and at least 4,000 soldiers were located in those residential areas. Any locals who showed the slightest disobedience were imprisoned in barns, tortured or killed. Some people betrayed by cooperating with the occupiers and reported to them who was giving out the location information of Russian troops. On the 27th they came in, and on the 28th they were already in our vegetable garden. Guns, tanks, you could see a burnt howitzer on the farm over there. Our guys blew it up. Do you need any medicine? These are from our friends in Wisconsin. American Ukrainians help. We stopped on the side of the road and started distributing the packages. In about 5 minutes we distributed 1 car full of food and medicine to the people in need.
Ну таке воно обезболюється.
Якщо живіт болить.
Да. Немає. Ага, спасибо.
Тільки дивіться, щоб може кульок не порвався.
On the 24th, we started setting up a place to sleep and stay in that shelter, because the head of the community told us to wait it out, not to go anywhere as they, Russians, would came and everything will be fine. And we started to get the shelter ready. Now I'll show it to you. In reality, we were there for a very long time, not 2 or 3 days. Please be careful over there. I was in this barn in the meantime, and when they were here already, you could see the broken windows that were blown out. It became almost impossible to go from the barn to the shelter. Bullets were flying here and there. Imagine I was walking there, seeing bullets flying around. I could hear them getting stuck in the hay again and again. I came down to the shelter and said we all would die in here. We made a makeshift kitchen over here. Couches, we were cooking food, everything is here in its place. You see, no one cleaned up. We were preparing meals here, everything was set. I slept in this chair, because there was no other spot for me. So you had that many people in here? Well, yes, there were beds everywhere. We took them out already, but there was a hole, we buried all the weapons in it. At first, we carried it with us, but then we put it all into a box and buried. Then, when they came to collect the weapons, we dug them up, and the Russian took them away from us. Why did you bury the weapon? We did that so they wouldn't shoot us, because if they had found weapons, they would have shot us immediately. The first convoy, when they came in, told us, "Do you have guns?" "Yes, we do, but they're buried." "Okay, but if you use them, you all will end up here." "We won't use them," we said. After the second convoy came in, they went into the yard, forced everyone to their knees, called their names, dug out the weapons, went outside, and they started mocking us, forced us on our knees again, shot over our heads. After that day, one of our guys was taken prisoner. He was there for 13 days. He came back when the occupation was over. I was feeding the farm animals here, and they took me to the headquarters, put a bag over my head, took me, beat me, shot over my head. Then they knocked my teeth out and hit me very hard in the head. What did they want from you? They wanted the information about who was giving the coordinates to Ukrainians, because in the first days they parked a Grad vehicle in the neighbor yard, and our military destroyed it. Then, after they took all the weapons from us, they gathered us in the house, forced us to kneel, beat us, tortured us, put our hands on the trunk of the car, and hit the fingers with knives. They forced me to my knees, broke my ribs, kicked me under the car like a dog. Then they picked me up and let me go home. They didn't allow anyone to go outside for water or anything else. Once in a while they would come to kill a sheep, shot it, put it into their military vehicle and would drive away. Everything is all right, life goes on. He said, "We know you have a phone. Bring it here." I said, "I don't have a phone." He had a tablet with a special program on it that could determine locations of all the mobile devices on the map. "For how long have you been in that basement?" "We have been in that basement for about 10 days. Then we moved to a house next to the fence, and we stayed there. Even though we spent most of the time in the root cellar, because there were explosions all the time and everyone was hiding in the root cellar. On the first day when civilians were escaping from Bobrovica, they were shooting them just for fun, and those bodies were left on the road for 5 weeks. They wouldn't even let us take them away. From time to time they were coming to check whether everybody stayed in the same place. I can show you the cars destroyed by the gunfire there. When they came in the first day, they destroyed the tires. Then about 2 days later they came and shut the engines so that no one would be able to leave by car. There were locals who gave away the information. Also, when they came to get the weapons, we were forced on our knees in the yard over there, turned our heads in that way. Some local guy came with them and stood in the gate and was pointing his finger at us like this. We were just thrown to the ground and dragged around the yard. There you would see a tank blow up on the right side of the road. I was unable to stand there. It threw me around the yard like an old can. "Hello, is this your garden?" "Yes." "Were the Russians here?" "They were here for a month. No need to talk about it. Their military vehicles were here." The Russians were using the root cellar to hide and were living in the neighbor's house. And this is their portable radar array. It deploys a huge antenna. Was this machine firing? No, it only intercepted signals and took aim with artillery. They started dismantling their own equipment after that equipment was burned out. So there were a lot of precious metals in that equipment that was used in radio engineering. They were taking their own equipment into scrap metal. By the end of our trip, we found ourselves in yet another horrifying place, a destroyed preschool, which served as a military headquarters for the occupiers for the entire month. This war impresses upon you not just with the scale of the destruction, but with how they enjoyed destroying everything in their path. All their crimes were filled with envy and desire to destroy the beauty, to scoff at the life they did not deserve.